Today on our show,
Destiny 2 now running at 60 FPS on the brand new console due to constraints.
oof, Diablo III Rise of the Necromancer pack, and Divinity Original Sin 2 release dates. Coming at you very, very soon.
Today on Oddity Gaming.
And episode 3 is here, guys. Oddity Gaming one more time for you. Coming at you weekly. Talking about all the gaming news, everything that's been happening ever since E3, and some things that have been happening outside of E3. So, some of the news we're going to run today, like we said earlier, we have Destiny 2. Bungie just came out and said that it is not going to run at 60 frames per second on both the PS Pro and the Xbox One X, which we spoke about last week, that had a 6 teraflops capability and all these other great stats.
Yeah, an 8-core AMD processor, like...
So what I'm reading here, I'm going to give you a quote. I'm going to give you a quote straight from game director Luke Smith. This is a guy who's directing Destiny 2. And he says, "It will not run at 60 frames per second on the Pro. I don't want people to continue to hope. We're going to be a matter of fact about that stuff." So, the game can run at 4K. I want your take on this because you're more of a technical person than I am. So it runs at 4K.
Right.
But apparently the CPU is not capable of getting us to the 60 frames per second.
Which is garbage. I'm going to be completely honest here because that has absolutely nothing to do with the CPU.
Okay.
That has everything to do with the GPU.
And the GPU should be fine.
The GPU should be completely fine. I ran some more numbers after our last episode looking at the reveal of the Xbox One X. And it turns out that the 6 teraflops and all that fun stuff is actually on par with a 1070.
Which again, if you had a PC right now with 1070,
exactly. I got a 1070 in this laptop,
and I've seen you run games at 2K at 60 frames per second, 4K at locked because of the screen at 30, but it can run it at 60.
Yep.
So I don't know, guys. I'm hype about this game no matter what. Console players are already used to the 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
The last gen, actually, the gen before, and then last gen, played Destiny at 30 frames per second. Mm-hmm. It was a good experience. I liked it. It's just like Halo. Halo has the same experience. But when you come and play a game at 60 frames per second and to switch back, I've seen gameplay at 4K, PC gameplay at 4K, 60 frames per second for Destiny 2. I can't unsee what I've seen. I have to play this game at 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even if I have to downgrade it to 2K or whatever on my personal rig, it's still going to look better than anything out there.
I know. But I don't know why they're trying to come up with bogus excuses.
So you think this is bogus?
I think it's bogus that they could not run.
You heard it here first. He thinks it's bogus. Nah.
Well, see, and that's the thing. It might not be able to run because due to GPU constraints, it might not be able to run at 60 FPS at 4K.
Right.
But it definitely could be able to run at 60 FPS at 2K or 1080p.
Okay.
With no problems.
Right. Now, I don't know. So this is only talking about running at 4K resolution, locked at 30 frames. I don't know if the 1080p resolution version is going to run at 60 frames per second. So caveat to this is that we don't know if any version of the console version is going to run at 60 FPS. But my understanding right now is that Destiny on home console is going to be locked tight, no matter if it's 2K, 4K, 1080p, doesn't matter, 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
So already the PC version got you beat on that.
Well, I mean, not only that, but like that's what people were getting so hype about these new consoles. You know, the PS Pro, the Xbox One X. That we're gonna be able to play true 4K at 60 FPS.
Right, like we're gonna be able to catch up to our PC brethren because we now have a machine that's theoretically speaking strong enough to do that and more.
Right.
But here, so the hype train for the Xbox One. Just slash it. It's done. We're done with Xbox One. Actually, we're not because this is a decision from one company.
Yeah.
So it's just Bungie.
And it's not even the company who founded the consoles.
Right.
If it was something that came directly from like Microsoft or Sony,
right? If this was a Sony game that said we can't run this game, it would be like if God of War was locked at 30 frames per second on 4K, which is never going to happen, guys.
Yeah.
God of War, for all the Sony consoles that it comes, has always run silky smooth 60 frames per second, regardless of the graphic fidelity.
Yeah.
So I think they might just not understand the machine yet. That's what I'm thinking.
Possibly.
Because I think this game...
Well, and see, here's one thing
because this game started development on Xbox One.
I know, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't think it's constrained because of that, but I kind of got to give them a halfway benefit of the doubt of, not being able to play at 60 FPS.
Right.
Because if you've seen any of the trailers, any of the gameplay for... Destiny 2. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff going on. You got the rain hitting your visor, and it's like...
Oh, yeah, and
a lot of stuff.
It's basically like, Destiny 2.0. Obviously, that game already was a very pretty game, had a lot of spell effects, because, you're shooting around, but if you're a warlock, if you're a hunter, if you're a tank, it doesn't matter what class you are, there was always a lot of flashiness going on.
Yeah.
And then the bosses themselves, like if you're in a raid setting or even a PvP setting, there's a lot of spell effects and things being thrown in your way. So I don't know what is going on here. I don't know, like, internally what they're seeing, that they're like, nope, the CPU has us locked. And I do understand CPU bottlenecks, because I used to have a really good gaming rig at one point, like good video card, good memory, good. The CPU was holding me back. So I do understand that. I know that that's like a real problem.
See, and here's where I'm going to stop you on that too.
Okay.
Here's where their BS story that I'm calling it, CPU bottleneck, might actually be a CPU bottleneck. Okay. Now that I'm actually, kind of dissecting the game and looking at it, there's a lot of math going on. Because you got, if there's a rainstorm going on, you got to be able to determine where the GPU's actually got to render all those polygons and all that stuff, or vectors.
And it is an online game, so there's a lot of networking involved, which he did mention. I didn't read the full quote, but there's a full quote where he mentions like networking and communicating with servers from like person to person and the client side, and I get that. We play a little game called World of Warcraft, so we're kind of used to this.
Yep.
Now, granted, World of Warcraft is running on an engine from 2003 that's slowly being acclimated to the present, but I just can't believe that they can't do it. I think they can, they just might not have figured out how. That's what I'm thinking.
I feel like it might be possible with a future patch.
Yeah, and here's another thing too. It's brand new hardware, so especially Xbox One X and PS Pro, they're probably just looking at it going like, we don't know what we can do with this thing.
But see, the thing is even though, like, since they revealed it, game creators and stuff like that, as soon as this, the console goes into beta or whatever, they release it to all the game makers so that they can optimize
fiddle with it.
So they're gonna have plenty of time to actually look at the Xbox One X and see if they can optimize it to where they can actually get 60 FPS out.
I am hoping against hope that, because the PC release of Destiny is slightly later than the console release, so September is the date for console players, September 28 or something like that. For PC players, for Destiny 2, we have to wait till October. There's a wait, yes. We didn't cover it last time because we were a little hype about the game itself being announced and all that.
Yeah.
I just found out recently they announced that there is going to be a slight gap. I'm okay with that because we are going to get a better quality product. What I'm not okay with, and I forgot to mention it in our intro, is that PlayStation's going to get a window of exclusivity for some content, some strikes, some gear. There's some stuff that you can only get on PlayStation 4. And I feel like that's a way for them to go like, come play it first on PlayStation 4. Meanwhile, PC gamers, we're going to have to wait a little bit, not get all that good stuff, but we're going to get a better game at the end of the day. I feel like that's the trade-off.
And there's always been that stuff. There's always been, even full entire franchises, like God of War. You can't get that on nothing else. Good luck playing that anywhere else, unless you have like a mod, and good luck running that mod that it runs it perfectly. Yeah, exactly.
So, again, I'm a little salty about it, but from guns and sci-fi and shooting in space, I wanna bring us down to like the core of what we actually play, which is like a lot of fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons, and like that type of stuff. And there's a little game out there which somebody told me about, and that somebody sitting right next to me. It's called Divinity Original Sin 2. So there's been a Divinity Original Sin before. I'd never heard about it, but this game is going to be coming out on September 14 of 2017. So this is right around the corner.
Yep.
Has complete under the radar for me.
But it is on early access on Steam.
All right, so I want you to take us through this because you know a little more about this game than me, and I want you to like maybe the people who are watching the video feed to see a little bit more about this game because I'm very curious, and I have seen some screenshots and some video already. I want to know more about this game, but can you give me like a good rundown of what this game is about?
Sure. So Divinity Original Sin 2. I've never looked at number 1, but I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons on my off time. And what I've noticed with this game is it's a very like if you're a fan of Dungeons and Dragons and you play it with a group of friends playing a campaign, whatever, and one of those friends happens to move away, or you just don't like. You've always been interested in looking at it, like, man, this looks like fun. It's a lot.
But you don't have the commitment,
the time commitment or the creativity.
Right.
So what this game does is it kind of takes those factors out of play.
Okay.
You still have a game master or a dungeon master, whatever you want to call it. You still got a DM and you still got all your players, but it's all server based, and so you can play with your buddy that just moved to England. Right.
So it's essentially an online game where you can play a form of Dungeons and Dragons, and you also have a person who can actually be a dungeon master, setting up the story and the campaign and how what you're encountering and all that. So for those at home that are not understanding like how complex this game is, there actually is I'm looking at it here, a tabletop RPG campaign creation mode where people can create campaigns. So they write the story, they write the area, the locale where your characters are going to go, what they're going to encounter, the boss, like basically a mini RPG. Loot. They make a mini RPG. This is on Steam. They put it on the Steam Workshop, and then other players can then grab these campaigns, load them up on their client, the game, and play through it. So from a content creation side, this is an insane game. It's really like I guess this is like a super modified version of RPG Maker. I don't know if you've ever heard of those games.
I have.
So it's kind of like that, but
it's a grand scheme.
And really amplified.
For the guys that are watching, the live feed that we got going on up above my head, the graphics on this.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
Because I was expecting, when you told me about this game and you can be a dungeon master and you can do this, there's a lot of editing going on. There's a lot of custom creations. Like you can make your characters look, very specific to what you want it to look. You can mess with the stat. There's a lot of things that you can do to make this your own. But so I was thinking okay, so they're gonna take a hit graphically or something.
Right.
No, I don't know what engine this is. I really want to know. But it looks really good.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find what engine this actually runs off of.
It honestly looks to me like the Source engine, but I'm not gonna put money in that. The Steam, like your Dota, your Half-Life, all these games that are running on the Source engine, it kind of looks like that.
It kind of, yeah.
Doesn't it? It kind of looks like the Source. I don't think it's Unreal. I know, or Frostbite.
Frostbite, or it's like the two big ones right now are Frostbite and Unreal.
Yeah, so like I said, it says players can upload campaigns to the Steam Workshop, making it easy for game masters and players to find new adventures to play. More details can be found on the Divinity Original Sin official site.
And for all you guys out there that are like, man, they're talking a lot about Steam, do not worry. It's coming out on PS4 and Xbox One.
Oh, okay. Well. So this is going to the console world.
Yep.
This is I feel like this is a very complex RPG experience.
Yes.
It's going to come to the consoles.
Yes. So,
So how are consoles? Do you have any information about how maybe we're gonna be able to get the campaign, like upload campaigns onto the PlayStation Store? Is that what's gonna happen?
I think they might have like a, you know how Fallout 4 started doing their mod workshop on Xbox?
Okay.
I think they're gonna kind of do something like that.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that because they haven't really released.
I feel, yeah, and I mean, like I said, this game has been in open beta since last year. It looks like.
Yeah.
Again, it's catching up some steam on on Steam. It looks like they were on Kickstarter for a second there, and you have some information about their Kickstarter. Like they apparently wrecked their goal.
Yep. So this game is actually developed by Larian Studios.
Mm-hmm.
They posted a Kickstarter with a $500,000 goal.
Okay.
And,
so $500,000.
Yep. And they actually reached that $500,000 goal in less than 12 hours.
Oh wow.
So
not
people
even
want to see this game.
Yeah, not even a day of a Kickstarter being posted.
Not even half a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And so, do we have the number of what their Kickstarter is currently sitting at, or did they stop at 500,000?
No, they kept going. It actually sat at a little over $2 million.
So once again, a game that's not even released, theoretically speaking, it's in beta. It's a Dungeons and Dragons like creation, like campaign creation, essentially. $2 million.
$2 million. Yes, sir.
It's a lot of money for us.
It's a lot
and again,
of
the game looks very pretty. I'm gonna look more into it because I'm very interested. I love RPGs. I love RPGs that are very creative in the way that they present a story.
Mm-hmm.
And this, because it's gonna have a lot of content from the people playing it.
Yep.
I feel like it's gonna have a lot of like very interesting adventures for people.
Mm-hmm.
So, going from that though, very complex game. Very complex game. And again, release date of September. There's another game that's going to release very soon. Or I should say, a pack for a game that's going to release very soon. So we spoke about it on our first episode, Diablo Rise of the Necromancer. And do you remember how much we said that this could realistically cost?
$20.
$20. We said $20, no more, no less, because they were offering the pet, the wings, the Necromancer character.
Yeah, they're offering a lot of content.
And then they're offering, well, not only the stuff that you're getting, the goodies, the digital goodies that normally cost more, and the class. You're also getting 2 new zones and some perks to your character, like an added stash and all these other things, greater or challenge rifts, and there's some other stuff that's being added. So, not quite a full game, but enough for you to go like, that's about worth $30 to $40.
Right.
$15.
Yep.
So Blizzard just went, nope, $20. Nah, son, we're gonna slice that. $15.
$15.
And it's coming next week, June 27.
Yeah.
I said July. I was convinced that the season was gonna end next Friday, or this Friday actually, and that we were going to get the Necromancer next season, season 11, which is in July 20th. I was very wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong by a whole month. But backwards.
Yeah.
I cannot... Okay, so I told you you found out about this release date from me, right?
Yep.
What did you think about, like, how fast this is? Did you think it was going to be this fast?
feel like... Well, no. I feel like, the Necromancer just went into beta, like...
Not that long ago. We've been looking at our computers saying like, oh man, wouldn't it be great if we get the beta for the Necromancer? And we check every other Tuesday, just to make sure if we're getting it. And Blizzard said, no, it's going to be closed beta. We're not going to do open. And we cried a little bit about it.
Yeah,
we're like, oh man, like they should have an open beta. Now we're looking at, we have less than 7 days for this to happen.
Yep.
So what just happened?
I don't know. I was hoping you knew.
Blizzard. So I honestly, so there's been something going on at Blizzard lately. I don't know what it is. I've been following the company for a while now, ever since I became like a fan of theirs for Diablo II. Well, mostly Warcraft 3. That's when I started playing their games.
Uh-huh.
And they used to have a long development period for a game. If a game was in development, it would be like 4 to 5 years of development and then finally a release date. And even expansion packs, like the first Warcraft expansion was like, guys, like it's like 3 years almost before we even got one. now we're sitting at like a place in Blizzard because they have so many people and they're a bigger company. They have Overwatch. They have all these other bigger games where they say, hey, we're going to release something soon. It's a pack. It's an expansion, whatever.
Right.
And they don't say when. And then the week before, they've done this with Hearthstone a few times before. They do this a lot with Overwatch where they're like, oh, we're going to have a special Olympics event going on. And they don't tell you or even show you a trailer until the week before. And then they're like, and here's the content. It's really fast. It's really furious.
Yeah. Blizzard likes to smack you in the face every once in a while.
And this is coming out, for those of you who are like, is this PC only? No, this is coming out digitally. There's no box for this. This is all DLC. Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC, June 27, $15. If you play Warcraft, you can buy this with gold. You can literally just grab
129,000.
I think the conversion rate right now is 129,000 World of Warcraft gold converts to $15 or $20. I can't remember. 15? Yep. So exactly what you need for this pack. And I feel like their pricing model for a lot of their things
is based around
those $15 because I'll tell you why. $15 gets you this pack. That's one lump of Warcraft gold.
Yeah.
Destiny, when it comes out, Destiny 2 will be on Battle.net. We discussed this. And it will be $60 for the most base version. That's four of these packs. Again, like perfectly distributed.
Well,
you can't even have $1.
All new games are $60 though.
True, but except for Overwatch. Overwatch was $40 for the base one on PC, brand new.
That's because it's Blizzard.
True. and again, there's a lot of. I just don't know how they came to this number. I honestly thought $20 would have been a fair ask of people, but I really think 15 they figured up because of the gold thing.
Yeah.
Probably. And because they saw how the gold was fluctuating for Destiny. Because me and you spoke about how the day Destiny 2 was announced for PC and that they said, oh, it's coming to Battle.net and you can buy it with Battle.net balance. What happened to the market?
Not really the North American.
North America, not so. I mean, it still went up
a little bit.
Yeah, like 20, 10, 20K.
But like the Chinese market went up like 300,000 gold over like 2-3 days.
What happened in Europe? I don't remember.
They're like at 240,000, I think.
That's what I thought. But yeah, we're playing this, obviously.
Yeah.
I have no reason not to play this. I already have the gold to. This is basically free for me.
Yeah.
So I have no reason not to play this next week. So
I'm feeling probably an Oddity live stream.
We might do a live stream of the Necromancer when it goes live because we're gonna be max level in like no time. We're gonna cheat a little bit. Just a little bit to get to max level and get it done.
Slight.
Do some runs, maybe show some people. Just have us see us die on Torment 1.
Yeah, right.
Because that first week is gonna be rough, guys. It's gonna be rough.
Learning curve.
Yep, it's for real. Again, not much to mention about the game other than again you get the Rise of the Necromancer gives you the Golem Impet, the cosmetic wings, Crypt Guardian, 2 more character slots. So if you're full on your character slots, you get 2 extra slots, 2 stash tabs for PC gamers. And the Necromancer portrait, banner, sigil, and all this stuff. It also includes a new area, 2 new areas actually. So there's going to be 2 new maps when this comes out. So again, like for $15, not bad. Well, for me, for $0, I'm getting a whole bunch of content.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it with WoW.
I'm good to go, Blizz. There is something else about Xbox One and PlayStation 4. We'll have a new version of Diablo 3 called the Eternal Collection. This is brand new. Includes the base game, Reaper of Souls, and then Rise of the Necromancer. This costs a grand total of $40. $40 gets you everything. It's kind of like what they've done with their battle chest for Warcraft, where once upon a time you had to buy the original World of Warcraft and every expansion separately. Nowadays you just buy the battle chest, has every expansion up until the new one.
Yep.
So you save like, at this point, hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
With that, though, that's all I have for the news today on Oddity Gaming. Jose Strawhead Regan Morales.
I'm Justin JTK08 Kinsfather.
This guy right here, and we're going to see you next week.